Hi guys, it's Shami. So today I have a super fun project to share with you. I was inspired by Secret and Stacy. They made these beautiful recycled beads, so I wanted to show you guys the technique. They're really quite beautiful and they're super simple to make, really fun. So please check out their channels. I'll put links below and you can see their process of how they made theirs, and go show them some love. Okay, so these are so much fun to make. I'm totally addicted of you, as you see. These are the ones that I made last night just to kind of test out how I was going to make mine, which is fun. But it's super simple. You probably have everything you need if you're just a basic jeweler to make these. Mine are a little bit different in that I am using IV cord. I used to be a CNA, so I was thinking about what I could use to make these beads, and it's really cool because IVs tubing is kind of hard, and it has a hole in it, and you can cut it to whatever size you want. So that's why I thought of this. You can get this on eBay for like $2, and it's free shipping. It's really awesome, so this is great to use. So all you do is you just cut a piece of your IV cord or tubing to whatever size you want your beads to be. Now keep in mind they will have a bead cap and more beading and wire wrapping too. So you don't want to make them too huge. I make mine about 1.5 inches, and that's the size that I love. I did make some a little bit smaller, but that didn't work for me. I really like the larger ones. Then what I have here is just leftover sari ribbon. That's what I did mine with, but you could also use like ribbon, any kind of fabric that you have, and that would work well too. So let's get started. Here I just have some Eileen's clear tacky glue. Tacky glue works the best for this part, at least. Just because it adheres pretty easily, so you know it's very easy to work with. So what I have here is just my sari yarn. I'm just going to cut it down a little bit because it's better if you wrap it. It just gives it a more just a more beautiful look, I think, because you don't want these to be perfect. That's not the purpose of this craft. It's just to have fun and to make them look unique. You want every bead to be unique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here at the edge of my tubing here, and I'm going to squeeze out some of my tacky glue, and I just put it in this little applicator bottle to make it easier. Then I'm going to start on the end here, and again, don't worry about it. It does not have to be perfect. These are just really fun beads. I think that's why I love them so much, is because they're so fun and they're super simple to make, and you can kind of make them your own, so it's fun. And I was so excited when I saw the video by Secret, and I was like, I have to make some. She used markers from the dollar store, and she had a saw and everything like that, but I don't have a saw, so I decided to use IV tubing. See, being CNA came in handy. I used to work at a hospital, and I took out IVs. I was also in nursing school, but then I injured myself, so I wasn't able to do that. Yeah, so, but it was a fun job. It definitely taught me compassion, and I worked on the cancer unit, so, yeah, it was, I mean, the people that went through cancer were amazing survivors, so it's definitely a part of my life that was a beautiful part of my life, and I met so many beautiful people. So it rolls like that. That's the way it looks when it's all covered. Okay, and let's do another one really quick. You can use, I love the sari, and I have leftover sari yarn, and what sari yarn is it is just the leftover fabric from women from India. They sew it together and they make it into this beautiful yarn that you can crochet with, you can sew with, you can make beautiful jewelry with, and it's so colorful because the saris that they wrap themselves in are just absolutely beautiful and colorful. And it's made from silk, which is amazing. So it's really soft and pretty, and I think it goes perfectly with these beads. So again, I'm going to wrap another one for you. I just went to the edge there, added a little bit of glue. Okay, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue as I go. Now you can wrap these to make them as thick as you want. They don't have to be so thin. I'm leaving mine pretty thin, but you can wrap them thick as you want. And if you don't get all the way to the edge, don't worry, you can just take the scissors and chop it off. That's the great thing about using this IV tubing, is that it's really easy to cut, but it's hard to, if that makes sense. So fun. But I'm glad I thought about it, because I was like, well, what can I use? Because Stacy used skewers, which was a genius idea, and then Secret used her markers, which is great. But they both have really great channels. I mean, I'm always inspired by both of them, so I hope you check them out and check out how they made theirs. It's so fun. But I saw them and I was like, I have to make some of those. They're so cool. And I always love to make my own art supplies if I can, and especially unique things, you know, that you can't buy in the store. So you see I'm trimming off the edges there because it wasn't quite perfect, but that's the way it looks when it's done. Okay, so once you do that, you're going to let them dry. Then you'll have some that look like this. Okay, and I made some smaller ones so you could see. And you're going to add some paper. Okay, now I am using book text here, and all I do is just take it. This is an antique book that I had, really old one, and I'm just going to kind of make little strips, but I want them to be rough. And it just adds a whole different dimension to the beads. It makes them much more interesting. Now for this part, I use my glitter decoupage glue, just because I need to use it up, and it adds a little bit of shine. Probably did not need that much, okay? And I'm going to take my beads, and you can add 2 pieces, 1 piece, whatever you want. So you're just going to take your bead, and this is a piece of sari ribbon too, or yarn, but it's a little bit rough, which I love. This is probably my favorite one that I made, because all the fibers are sticking out. It's really beautiful. Okay, you're going to take it and you're going to roll it around. If you wanted to, you could just use the tacky glue too, but I always have to get my hands in some glue. Okay, just like that. Okay, so you'll add as much or as little pieces of paper as you want. And as I said, it just adds a whole nother dimension to your beads. So it's super fun. Just like that. Okay. And then you're going to let it dry. Or actually, you know what? I don't let it dry at this point. At this point, I wrap around my fibers, just because I already have some glue on there. So I go ahead and wrap fibers, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. I just want to add a little bit more paper to this one. Just like that. But this is super fun. I mean, how great to make these. And you can add them to dangles. You could make them into a beautiful necklace. And they're really like junk beads. I think that's what I'm going to call mine, because they're from like junk, you know, that maybe you would throw away. And what I have here is my friend Pam gave me this, which I didn't know what it was, but my friend Ina told me that it's actually, I guess in Europe they use it, and what you do is you can pull out a string, and you thread it, you thread your needle like to sew on a button and stuff. But I'm going to use this to add some fibers to my beads, just to give them a little bit more interest, okay? So you just take it and you pull. Now you could use embroidery thread. That would work great too here, or yarn. Yarn is a little bit harder to stick, is what I've noticed, and I just love this because it doesn't really take away from the bead. So that's why I'm using this thread, but feel free to use whatever you want. I mean, you could use a piece of burlap, which I did in a couple ones. You could use a piece of yarn. So just kind of raid your stash and see the things, you know, that you want to use. I think I'm going to use purple, and I need to cut these down. But it was so funny because I was trying to figure out how to use it, and I had a project in mind, and then I went over to my friend Ina's house, and she's like, you know what this is used for, right? Because she was generous enough to give all of us one, and me, Pam, and Ina. Well, Pam gave it to all 3 of us. So yeah, so she told me how to use it, and it's fun. I'm not really a sewer, but I will definitely use it for my craft, so that works out great. And all you're going to do is just attach it. Again, I use my deco glue, or my decoupage glue, which can be a little tricky, but you're just going to take it and wrap it around, just like that. and I will have sticky hands. That's just the way I craft. I'm a messy crafter. No neatness here. You're just going to wrap it around, and it just gives it a whole beautiful texture. And then I just take my brush and brush it down. And you know what? It doesn't even matter if it's sticking up, if any of the fibers are sticking up. You want it to be very natural. These are not supposed to be perfect beads, you know? Let's do another one. So this one we'll do with, well, I can show you one with the burlap. Okay, I'm just going to cut off a piece of the burlap here. And for this one I will use tacky glue because the decoupage glue will not let it stick. Okay, so I'm going to take it and just kind of go like that randomly. And I will have to probably, you're just going to wrap it around like that. Okay, like so. Okay, like that. I might have to add some to one of the edges. I usually do if I use this kind, which my clear bottle is blending in with my table. There we go. Very good. Okay, so that's that one. Just like that. Okay, so once you add your fibers in, I am going to show you how to do some beading here. Okay, but let's thread. Let's add a little bit more to one of these here, so you can kind of see a few different techniques that I'm going to use for my beading. And it's fun because you have fabric, you have paper, you have beads. I mean, that's what makes this so awesome. And I'm just going to grab another fiber out of here, or thread, fiber, thread, whatever you like to call it. And I can just take right from here. You know, I just put on a good amount. It's not going to hurt the fabric at all, the decoupage glue, so I'm not worried about that. Okay, and I'm just going to give it a wrap around. And again, I'm not worrying if it overlaps. These are just supposed to be fun beads. Okay, so don't, it's just a relaxing experience, or it's supposed to be. Okay, just like that. And I should have had some wrapped with fibers, but I kind of forgot that step. So we are going to have to just work with these, and they'll be wet, but they'll be okay. We can still work with them, and they'll dry as we work. And that's entirely too much fiber. Alright, I'll take it and we'll give it a trim. That was a long one. And it's so fun. And just raid your stash. I'm sure you have thread or string or yarn or fiber somewhere. You know, you can take this as far as you want, and that would be fine. And if you guys do these, I hope that you'll show me on Facebook. You guys are so creative. I love seeing what you come up with. And like I said, you could use a skewer, you can use all sorts of stuff if you don't have the IV tubing, but you can do so many cool crafty things with IV tubing. So you can make cool bracelets and all sorts of stuff. So I always have some on hand, and it's only a few dollars on eBay. So alrighty, so once you're done with that, let's say that these were dry, you are going to get some wire. Now I'm using florist wire just because it's super simple to work with, and this is 26 gauge. Okay, you can use thicker wire, but it is more difficult to work with. Okay, and then I am going to cut a kind of a pretty long piece because I'm going to wrap mine. So let me measure for you. So I'm going to cut about 8 inches. Okay, and I'll use my wire cutters here. And you will need, you know, some jewelry making components. So your round nose pliers, your flat nose pliers, and wire cutters. Okay, and what I like to do is I'm just going to do kind of, we'll do 3 beads together, beaded. And I'll show you kind of different ways that you can do it here. So, very good. Okay. Okay. So what you're going to do is you will need some bead caps. I got these from Panda Hall. When I made an order with them, but they have a bunch of different size bead caps, so I'm just going to take out what I'm going to need for this project. They have some really pretty ones, and this little container I think was $2 or $3, so it's a pretty good deal. You do have to pay a lot for shipping, but if you make a big order, then it's fine. And I have just some beads here. whole bunch of different kinds of beads, again, that I got from Panda Haul that they sent me. Okay, so you're going to take it and you're going to stick, so see there's a hole in my IV tubing, and I'm going to stick my wire right through. Or I'm going to attempt to do that. Let's see, it's kind of a little bendy, my wire, so maybe I'll grab another piece. This is a pretty long bead too. There you go, and it does come out the other end. Eventually, sometimes you just have to fiddle with it a little bit. Okay, there we go. Out the other end it goes. Just like that, okay? Alrighty, so I'm going to have one short side and one long side, okay? So the short side here, let me bring you in a little bit more. And you know what? I'm going to switch to this gray because my desk can be a little bit distracting. So we're going to switch here so you can really see what I'm doing very well. Okay, so what I have here is I have my piece of yarn here. I'm going to start with this end and I'm going to leave about 1 inch to 2 inches, okay, because I need to make a loop and I need to be able to wrap it around. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a few seed beads and a bead to kind of close out. So I think I'm going to do this pretty gold seed beads and then this crystal one. Okay, and then I have my bead caps here, so I'll just grab 2 of those. Okay, and that's what you'll need for every bead that you're going to do. Okay. And then you can add more beads if you like, but I'll show you that in a minute to wrap it around. Okay, so now we're going to grab my round nose pliers and my flat nose pliers, okay, and I'm going to make a loop, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wire, okay, and I'm going to go a little bit above the bead, and I'm going to go to the fattest part of my round nose pliers, and I'm just going to pull that down like that. Now if you had thicker wire, that would not be that easy, okay? And I'm going to make a cross shape. Can you see that? That, okay, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to wrap it around really tight. Oh, you know what? I need to add the beads, don't I? Crazy girl. I just feel like wire wrapping and not doing what I'm supposed to be doing here. So we're going to put our seed bead on. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I'm glad you guys get to see me authentic. It's good. Okay, let's see. We're going to put on our seed bead first, and I just dropped one, so I'll have to grab another one. And then we're going to put on this pretty clear bead. And you kind of want a larger bead, like a larger round bead, because it just makes your bead cap look prettier, I think. Okay, but definitely use what you have. Okay, and then we're going to pull this down a little bit. And now we're going to make the loop when all the components are on it, right? Okay, so we're going to take it, and again, I'm going to go to kind of the fattest part of my pliers here. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to make an X, and I'm going to start wrapping it around. Make sure you don't put the beads on the other side, though, because they'll go everywhere, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. And you're just going to keep wrapping. Now, if you need to use your round nose pliers, you can do that. But this wire is so soft, and it's really cheap florist wire. You just walk into the florist shop, or the dollar store carries it, and you can use it for a lot of different things. Okay, and I have a little bit of wire sticking out there, so I'm just going to smash that just for now. Okay, okay, so that's what you have so far. Okay. So I have my beads on my end and my seed bead, okay? Then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other end, except we're going to have a bunch of wire left over to do fun stuff with, okay? So I'm putting my seed bead on, and then I'm going to put my larger bead on like this, okay? And then I'm going to put my bead cap, and I'll do one more for you guys so you can see, okay? And then I am going to make my loop. Okay, so we'll take them again. We're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go to the very end of my round nose pliers. I'm going to make an X like that. So see it goes this way, and that's what makes the loop. And then I'm going to take it, and in between the bead cap and the wire, I am going to wrap it up. Okay, and I'm going to make a few. I'm going to make it very tight and secure. Okay, so that's what I have. Does that make sense? Okay, very cool. Okay, now you can have fun. So what I have here is I have some clear beads. And I want this to be pretty and beaded, okay? But not too many beads, but just a little bit. But I don't want it to start, I don't want to start beading up here. I want to wait till I'm at my fabric bead part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it around a few times, okay? And you definitely leave enough so you can wrap it here at the end or in between one of your beads, okay? So don't go too crazy because you'll need a lot, okay? So I'm just going to put like 3 beads on there, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap. And I might be able to sneak on a couple more. Like that. And like that. Ready? Okay, and then I can go right up here to where my bead cap is, and I'm going to wrap that excess wire around that edge up there. Okay, and then I'm going to use my round nose pliers, and I'm just going to smash that in. Okay, give it a good twist and smash it in. Okay, and we have a beautiful bead. Okay, isn't that gorgeous? So let's do one more. Sorry, I know we're at 21 minutes, but I really want to show you guys the technique. So we're going to do this red one, and this is a little smaller, but that's okay. Ready? So we're going to take it again, guide it through, and if you know, if a little bit of fabric gets in the pole, then just use your scissors and cut it. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing. Okay, except this time I'm going to use these pretty pink or purple beads at the end here, and I'm going to use some silver beads. Okay, alright, good. So we'll take it again. I'm going to add my bead, take it almost to the edge there. Okay, and I'm going to add that, kind of a larger bead, and then I'm going to add my bead cap. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to leave about 1.5 inches to make my loop and to make it so that it will wrap around too. Keep that in mind. And that's what I'm going to do with this first end. So I'm going to take it, clasp it like that, okay, and then I'm going to take the tail, make an X, and I'm going to wrap it around to make a loop. Okay, just like that. And you know, wrap it maybe 4 or 5 times, I think is a good rule of thumb. So imagine all the beautiful beads that you can get and how much fun these would be to make, and all the beautiful fabrics you can use. I just love the sari ribbon, so that's what I'm using, but you could use whatever you wanted. So again, I'm putting my, I'm going to put my silver bead on first. And I really like at least 2 beads on the end. I think it just gives it a really elegant look. And these are great. Like I said, there's so many things that you can do with it. And then I'm going to do my bead cap. And then there's just one more thing that we have to do after this. Okay, so that's what we have. See how pretty that is? Can you see? Okay, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to go about 1.5 inches above where my bead cap ends, and I'm going to take my, maybe a little bit lower actually, maybe a little bit lower. Okay, and you want it to be tight too. You don't want your beads kind of rolling around everywhere, so make sure you put it close to the bead cap. Okay, you're going to take it, and I'm going to pull this up a little bit, and you're going to go, I made my X, and now I'm wrapping around my ribbon. I mean my wire. Not my ribbon, my wire. Okay, very good. Alrighty, and then I can, again, I'm going to wrap around just once like that. See? And I think it looks so pretty when it's all wrapped. I love wire wrapping. I mean, I am no expert at it, but it's definitely something that I love doing if I can. Okay? And we're actually just going to not even, and see, like this one, it's not going to go all the way to the tip. Can you see that? So all I can do is just stick it in between this bead and that bead, and it's fine. It'll just add structure to my bead. Okay? And I can trim if I need to. Okay? And then I can take my round nose pliers and see if any part of it's sticking up. It just adds interest, so no worries. Okay, oops. I'm using my round nose and I need my flat nose here. but these are just supposed to be very beautiful and organic. There you go. Okay, so once you're done with that part, I'm going to remove my mat here. You are going to take some type of sealer. Now I'm going to use my Deco Arts liquid glass, but you could use, and I'm going to squish some out here, you could use glossy accents, you could use diamond glaze, dimensional magic would work great here, and you just kind of want to seal your bead. And that's a step that I don't think that you should skip. I think that it makes your bead harder, and you can use it for all applications. Now I don't brush the beads, okay? I just brush the center part where the fabric is, okay? So I just take it and I'm just going to brush it, and I put on a pretty thick layer. And I love liquid glass because it doesn't take that long to dry, and neither does glossy accents. You could probably even get away with triple thick, and that would work too. But just brush it really well. And then what I have here is just a mug that I made with styrofoam, and that's what I'm going to hang them off of the edge of my desk with, like that. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, the other one that we made, which is, oh, there it is, right there. Okay. You're just going to brush, really brush where the paper is, you know, because you want that sealed. I don't worry too much with the beads, but I do brush the fabric too. And it just makes them a little harder and sturdier. So thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry this was a longer video, but I did want to go through the steps. And as I said, this idea was inspired by Secret. So thank you, Secret, for this fabulous idea and for sharing it with all of us. And I pray that you will go and check out her channel and see all the great work that she does on her YouTube channel. But look at how pretty these are. So these are the ones that I made before, and I want to kind of give you a close-up, but aren't they pretty? And they're sealed. Right? So imagine I can include these in Happy Meal. I'm going to put them in a jar. They're so fun and easy to make, and literally it was made with, you know, a few beads, a little bit of, you know, leftover ribbon that I had, you know, just junk basically. So yes, so please create these. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I will see you next time. Have a fabulous day, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to this video if you haven't. And if you know someone that would love to learn how to make these beautiful beads, please point them in my direction. Okay, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a fabulous day. Bye-bye. Make sure you come back tomorrow. We're going to have a really fun project. Okay, bye-bye.